Hello everyone, Dastry1 is the name, don't wear it out. Legacy has brought us many redos of older Ninjago sets, each with a new change. Oh, change. That's the word. This set is quite possibly the most widely divided Ninjago set to be released in recent history. However, there's this stigma that everyone in the community is 100% against the changes, that we all cling to nostalgia like the kid fans we are. I believe it quite apt to contextualize this in a discussion at a later date, but it is relevant here, and so I'm going to be giving the disagreement a spotlight. We are on the younger side of LEGO fandoms, there's no denying it. Even though it has been 8 years and the community has come a long way, I've had some ideas of videos to create breaking down the Ninjago online fandom for months, and I promise I will get to it at some point. However, the only relevant thing here are those heads. The footprint the community has left on a lot of places of crossing in the eyes of our older, both in numbers and existence, LEGO-themed counterparts is something I want to challenge. So I've decided to focus in on the dragons, specifically those heads. Although opinions vary, it's quite well known that the heads are possibly the most controversial thing here. You see, the 2011 to 2013 Ninjago dragons made use of specifically created molds, and this set was no exception, be it simply because of the change itself or a distaste towards the brick-built versions. This is quite a divided topic, that being the key word here, divided. The fact that people might assume every Ninjago fan on the internet would have some inherent youth-wrought rejection of anything new is the lens in which many people seem to view us. Suppose it's a bigger topic than I can cover here, but makes for a good question for this review. Which one is better? The Epic Battle Dragon set was released back in summer 2012 and included both the Great Devourer and the Ultra Dragon, as well as a third build, a Serpentine-inspired prison cell. One of the most interesting things to note right off the bat is that the 2019 Dragon actually has more pieces than this set did. It's actually rather incredible to think of when comparing the dragons. That being said, however, the builds are quite different. Set number 9450 comes with 904 pieces, which are used to construct the Ultra Dragon, Great Devourer, and a Serpentine Jail Monument. It also includes 7 minifigures: Sensei Wu, Lloyd, Jay, Lord Garmadon, General Scalador, General Acidicus, and Choker. Released in 2012 for the summer wave, it was the largest Ninjago set release that year, hitting in at $120. But we're only here for the dragon. 2019 saw the release of set number 70579, the Ultra Dragon. It's loaded with 943 pieces and 6 minifigures. It has a small side build, but most of the parts are used on the dragon itself. Small side build comes with 2 missiles and some purple Hands of Time snakes. If you want to combine the scene, it does work well alongside the old prison. Beyond that, the set comes with 3 returning figures, including Lloyd, Ziwu, and Lord Garmadon, each with different and new prints. Garmadon has the same parts, but with a new Viper-like face print that makes him look far more menacing than he did in any of the 2018 sets he came in. It's honestly really good. Wu is an interesting case, as they gave him the robes he used to banish Garmadon all those years ago, instead of the sensei getup he had in the original set. This, much like all the other figures in this set, is done because none of these figures are exclusive. This includes 3 new additions: Pythor, Spitter, and Lasher. I'm going to rank the dragons on 3 categories: building, design, and purpose. First thing you'll notice is that they are close in size. The very large and noticeable parts used on the 2012 variant provide the build with a lot of bulk, even with the lack of parts. On the other hand, the 2019 Dragon uses a lot of smaller parts to maximize on detailing and good-looking construction. The build is very rewarding in this sense. It slowly but surely forms into its final shape, and at the end of each bag you can plainly see how much you have completed. The 2012 Dragon has a bit of a mixed palette, with lots of grey and browns mixed in with the black and white translucent green highlights prominent on the model. It has 4 legs and small claws on the arms as if it were a bat. The top of the large heads of Wisp, Flame, Shard, and Rocky are moulded in white, with a different colour pattern printed on each, with the same jaw part used on each and the energy ball shooter mechanism sticking out of the mouth. Its construction is straightforward, but precise. Each part is used so well, and although the saddle is bulky and incredibly obvious to a point of possible critique, it is rather unique, and the build benefits well from the dragon's unique design. In contrast, the 2019 set is built up and around lots of texture parts, complete with new and improved saddle. Back and tail are rounded with shape, but with a jagged yet also slow to finish. Finally, the heads. Brick-built heads are very unique. Although opinions may vary, they are brilliantly constructed, strikingly colourful with printed eyes. The heads are connected to specifically constructed neck parts that extend the length to allow for minor vertical articulation. The only problem I had with building was the fear that the laminated plastic wings would rip as I was connecting them, as one of the connectors is at an angle. I'm not the biggest fan of the wings, especially considering they are a darker grey than the rest of the white on the model. When comparing the builds, 2019's was certainly more enjoyable in the moment. I believe the heads to be far more satisfying to construct in the building stage at least, and have more stability and articulation than the 2012 model's heads. If you have both, swapping the heads is possible, and it turns out the necks really add something. So, the building point goes to 2019, the Ultra Dragon.
Design.
Both models share the same flight feature. All four legs only have one point of articulation in the claw and are moved with the handle on the backs. Staticness of the legs are a problem that the newer model didn't improve on. There's not much to say here as the function works fine. You can simulate flapping wings or a gliding motion in the air with both. Tails also share a functionality. Both moving tails, the 2019 model has a small gear knob that allows for more articulate control over the mechanism, whilst the 2012 model doesn't have a gear to help control the function. Finally, the head firing mechanisms. The 2012 version uses a ball firing function modded onto the two parts of each of the heads. Shooting a small green energy ball is the main firing ammo as you squeeze the head whilst loaded. It works fine, however the material used on the heads have led to an issue of wear, even without use of my copy. The jaws very frequently fall off, even when little contact is applied. On the other hand, the brick-built secure attack function of the 2019 heads are reliant on the stud shooters. Each head has two shooters, with studs of different colour according to the element assigned to each head. The brick-built jaws function as they should thanks to these blasters being positioned on the sides. The only problem I have with the heads compared in functionality are the comparative sizes next to the older heads. They just seem a little too small. Beyond this, however, both models possess similar functionality. I must say I prefer the original's wing movement, but both the tail and heads are far more refined on the 2019 Dragon. And so, another point goes to 2019, the Ultra Dragon, for design. In terms of the points, the 2019 version has proven superior. Now we must discuss the relative context of the models and see if the judgment is fair. It is key to note that 2012's Dragon is only 1/3 of the full set, although most of its makeup is that of larger parts, so it's not as if it is at a large disadvantage. Size-wise, they are almost identical, yet both convey such a different look. You can tell they're both the Ultra Dragon, yet at the same time they couldn't be more far apart. I suppose at this point comes down to how much you value the rest of both the sets at the price point, in retrospect if you're looking to get the older model somehow. But as for the undisputed better model, it's largely on an opinion basis for most fans. And let's face it, if you've watched this far, you're not messing around. In my own opinion, the old Dragon has such a striking look the new one doesn't try to replicate. This one massive intentional difference is rather important to the overall purposes of the models. The new Dragon was a targeted improvement over the older. Each function is streamlined with the exception of the legs. This overall improvement lends to a definite technical win. However, that one difference in look sets them apart completely, in my eyes. When you also consider how many things were in the 2012 set, it's an easy allocation to give the final point to 2012 Epic Battle Dragon, due to its pioneering design and having nothing less than a newer model when all things are considered. I'd probably have lent towards the 2019 model had the legs been improved anyway, but sadly this point doesn't save it. In my opinion, the new heads are an unequivalent improvement over the old molds of the Dragon since the Mac Dragon, both for stability and look. I did get this set back in the day, but don't have an attachment to the heads myself, although I can see why people would prefer the old ones, not just out of nostalgia, but because they have a certain look. I suppose I'm not such a big fan of the sameness they displayed. In the end, it comes down to you. As much as I have laid out the improvements in clear comparison, you most likely have already formed an opinion. If not, I hope I gave a fair analysis.
Final verdict.
2019, the Ultra Dragon is an improvement and the superior Ultra Dragon model. However, not particularly full set. In any case, the older variant is not far behind. I hope you all have enjoyed. I had something to say on this, and it made sense to combine the meta critique with the product comparison in this case. So with that all said, see you guys next time.